Hi, I'm Donald, and this is Casey.
And we're taking a break from our upcoming comedy web series about board games called Board with Life.
We just got the new expansion for Dominion. It's called Guilds, and we haven't had a chance to play it yet, but we're super excited about it, and we thought we'd take a break from shooting just to pop it open and let everybody get a peek at what's in it.
After 8 expansions, you probably have a good idea what to expect from one of these, but it's always exciting to check out the new cards and see how they'll change the mechanic of the game that you're already so used to.
First thing I want to point out is I think it's really rad that they got Sloth from the Goonies to pose for their cover art. Let's go ahead and tear this thing open. So it's a small set. It's only got 13 kingdoms, but it seems pretty interesting. Combinations with Dominion and recommended combinations with Intrigue. I think it's sort of interesting that they never take it further than that. I guess it would get pretty weird. This lets you unlock these cards for the online version of Dominion. It's pretty cool they started doing this. Makes me wish I had bought all my sets after they started doing it. Comes with some gold tokens. New mechanic they have lets you save your money for later. They're like they're metal. They're pretty similar to the ones you've seen in previous editions. Got your decks of your new kingdoms here. Your little organizer. Pretty standard Dominion stuff. Everybody knows.
Alright, so this expansion introduces 2 new mechanics, so we're going to go over those 2 and then continue on to the rest of the cards.
The first one we're going to explore is the coin token mechanic. There are these coin tokens, and when you're using a card with the coin tokens, you'll set them out as part of setup. This is money that you can use later. Normally in Dominion, you're discarding any money that you don't spend, or money you do spend immediately. The coin tokens are, they're banked. You can actually hold on to them from turn to turn to turn and sort of build up a stockpile. That's pretty cool.
And on a more superficial note, they feel pretty nice. They got some weight to them.
Yeah.
And they actually seem like pretty well-made pieces.
Yeah, I like the metal coins. I always wonder what the cost difference is, because like games like Agricola or Seven Wonders or all these, you know, it's always wooden or cardboard pieces. These little metal ones, they kind of add a nice little bit of flavor.
They're classy.
So the coin token cards are the Plaza, Merchant Guild, Butcher, Baker, and Candlestick Maker. So the first one we're going to look at is Plaza. You gain a card in 2 actions, and it says you may discard a treasure card. If you do, take a coin token. So that's interesting. Any treasure that you can't spend, you're just exchanging that for money in the future. You know, you might have an extra silver laying around. You got two money that you have nothing to do with because you're out of buys. And you can just turn around and discard it and go ahead and just bank it for later. It's less money, but at least you can do something with it.
I'm already getting flashbacks to games where I could have used that card.
Yeah, that happens a lot. Like, especially when you have 7, like that number is the one that makes you grind your teeth the most, at least if you're me. So that seems pretty cool. I could get into that. Next we have Merchant's Guild. It gives you a buy and 1 money. While this is in play, when you buy a card, take a coin token. So this is interesting because it gives you a buy, and for each card you buy that turn, you're taking a coin token. So it rewards you with money in the future for buying things now. That could be cool with this new coin mechanic. You know, you're building up a little stockpile of money, and then you can kind of burst and buy a few things, and perhaps, you know, keep it going. Buy several things on a turn, add that money to your stockpile for later every time it happens. So that seems cool. That seems like that has some prospects. The dudes on the cover look like they're up to some dirty business, though. I don't know what's going on with these cats. Are they drinking blood or what's...
Yeah, that looks pretty rough.
I'm assuming it's wine, but there's a dude behind him with a case. This is probably like a Game of Thrones spoiler I don't know about. Like, I imagine that's got stuff.
It looks much too small for that. Alright, so the next one is the Candlestick Maker. And it's got this sad fella with a goatee making some candlesticks, I guess. And it gives you 1 action and 1 buy, and you get to take a coin token. That seems pretty standard.
Seems pretty straightforward.
It's a pretty straightforward way to introduce the coin token mechanic.
And an action and a buy and a coin for 2, that seems like a pretty good deal to me.
Yeah, seems like a pretty good standard card just to come up in your hand sometimes.
Yeah, like that seems like a great, that seems pretty cool. I wouldn't be too sad about spending 2 on that. I don't really know why there were candlestick makers specifically.
Yeah, it seems like he's a blacksmith with a very particular set of skills.
I need a horseshoe. I can't do that.
I can make you a candlestick. Like, I guarantee you can go to any other blacksmith in town, the blacksmith that you got your armor from and that you got your horseshoes from, and be like, hey man, can you also make me a candlestick with that extra metal that you didn't use? And he'll be like, yeah, I guess, that's fine, it's just a candlestick.
Well, that's why this dude's sad though.
Next one is Butcher, which costs 5, and it says, take 2 coin tokens. You may trash a card from your hand and then pay any number of coin tokens. If you did trash a card, gain a card with a cost of up to the cost of the trashed card plus the number of coin tokens you paid. So it gives you lots of words that you have to read.
So basically what you're doing with this card is you're getting 2 coin tokens and you trash a card from your hand, and then you can take the value of that trash card and add it to the value of your coin tokens you're willing to pay and get a new card. So it seems like a thing that we're seeing a lot in guilds is investment. You know, thinking about the future. Normally, games of Dominion are often about like, what can I do right now? And this seems a lot more like setting yourself up for the next turn. Seaside had a bit of that, and this is a different take on it though. The dude on the...
He is clearly up to no good.
Yeah. He just looks like he's like wearing human skin.
He looks like he's wearing another man's head skin as a mask.
Yeah, like the folds on the back of his neck. I don't hate it though. I like to imagine that's what butchers do.
He kind of looks like Carl Pilkington from the Ricky Gervais show.
The last of the coin token cards we're going to take a look at is the Baker. It costs 5 and it gives you a card, an action, and you take a coin token. Interesting thing about this card is during setup, each player takes a coin token. So simply by the virtue of having the Baker on the table, everybody starts with a coin. I'm really curious how that would affect things. I don't really know. I would have to play with it. Like, it's hard for me to visualize what sort of difference everybody starting with a boost. I mean, it affects everybody, so like there's no strategic advantage really. It's just a interesting little wrinkle to the card.
Right.
It costs 5. You know, I'm not the best Dominion player on Earth, but that feels a little, for 5, that feels a little pricey for
yeah,
that.
it does.
Maybe bakers are just a more valued profession in the world of Dominion.
She is way better looking than the candlestick maker.
She is 10 times better looking than the butcher.
Continuing on with the theme of investing for future plays, this next mechanic that we're working with is called Overpay. You'll notice little plus signs next to the coin value at the bottom, and essentially what that means is you get little bonuses for overpaying for these cards. All right, the first overpay card that we have up is the Stonemason. With this card, you trash a card from your hand, gain 2 cards, each costing less than it. When you buy this, you may overpay for it. If you do, gain 2 action cards, each costing the amount you overpaid. So that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, especially at the price of 2.
Yeah, price of 2, I feel like you can get a lot going with just a purchase of one of these.
Yeah. It's interesting because early in the game is when you're probably going to buy 2s. And the idea of having a 2 with overpays is pretty interesting because then later in the game when you've got a lot of money, that 2 cost card that's still on the table does something. But it's also weird because it has you trashing cards from your hand and gaining 2 cards costing less than it. So early in the game, while I'm always excited about trashing cards from my hand, gaining 2 cards that cost less than the crappy cards I got rid of is probably not going to be that exciting too often. Like,
not too often, but I feel like when it does come up, it's going to be awesome. Yeah. Like when the perfect opportunity arises to use the Stonemason to get a card you really need, it's going to feel pretty great.
So yeah, that's pretty interesting. I dig that. I'd be curious to play with it and see how it panned out. I don't know why with this card they decided to just tell us what this dude's name is, Harold. That's a weird thing. Like, Harold's not even a cool name. No offense, Harolds. But...
to be fair, he looks like a herald.
That's true. He does look like a herald. Maybe they just saw the drawing and they went, that dude's a herald if I've ever seen one. Of course, I know what a herald is. So, Herald is actually a card that gives you a card and an action. And it lets you reveal the top card of your deck. And if that's an action, you get to play it. That right there alone is pretty interesting. It's an overpay card though. It's 4 money, and if you spend more than 4, When you buy this, you may overpay for it. For each one you overpaid, look through your discard pile and put a card from it on top of your deck. So basically, you spend 4 for Old Harold. He joins your team. He joins your Dominion. You get an extra card. You get an action. Then you look at the top card of your deck, and if it's an action, you automatically play it. That seems like that could get you into as much trouble as it could get you out of. Luckily, it gives you an action, so at least you're not burning your only action. And then when you're overpaying for it, for each one, you're digging cards that you've already used and putting on top of your deck. That seems like a card you could abuse.
Yeah.
It seems like a card you could find some sort of sick and twisted combination with.
Yeah, it seems like a card that for people who kind of are good at counting their cards, they could put it in a place where they can just wreck shop.
Yeah, it seems like there's gonna be some very interesting plays that happen with this card, as well as every once in a while some really hilarious people playing the card they most did not want to play at that exact moment. So that's a pretty interesting card. Then we got the Doctor. Name a card, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, trash the matches, put the rest back on top in any order. When you buy this, you may overpay for it. For each one you overpaid, look at the top card of your deck, trash it, discard it, or put it back. That's only 3. So I can play it and say estates and trash all my estates, or copper and trash all my copper, and put the rest back on top in any order. I actually saw on Board Game Geek, Donald was on there, not me, the real Donald, talking about this card, and he mentioned that you don't even have to name a card that is in this game. You can say Ace of Spades. You can say anything you want. Meaning, if you want, you can just reveal the top 3 cards of your deck and put them back in any order you want. Or if you name a card that you draw, which is pretty interesting. I thought that was kind of clever that he says, it just says name a card. You just name a card if you don't want to run the risk of trashing anything. You can say black market. And it's like, I don't have that card. But then after that, if you pay 3, that's what you get. But if you overpay for it, for each one you overpay, you look at the top card of your deck, trash it, discard it, or put it back. So you're flipping through the top couple cards of your deck, and you're getting to decide whether you want it in your deck at all, whether you want it on top of your deck, whether you want it in your deck, but just not right now. So that's pretty interesting. That seems like that could pair well with a Herald. Without thinking too hard about it, that seems like something that could work pretty well. He's got a weird hairdo. I don't like his beard. Aesthetically, it's fine art. I just mean as a guy, I don't like his style. But he's a doctor.
He's a doctor. He's going to be a total square anyway.
Yeah, he's saving lives. What are you going to do?
All right, so our next overpay card is the Masterpiece. It costs 3, and it gives you 1 money. When you buy this, you may overpay for it. If you do, gain a silver per 1 money that you overpaid.
So it's essentially an expensive copper if you don't overpay. But man, does overpaying for it sound nice. Like, if you overpaid that thing by enough money, that turns into a pretty cool copper.
Right.
Hook that up with the Doctor and you got a stew going. So that's it for the overpay cards. The last thing we're going to look at is just the other 4 cards in the set that don't necessarily fit into the 2 themes that we just outlined. The Soothsayer has a picture of Sinead O'Connor on it. I like that. The Soothsayer costs 5. It says, gain a gold. Each other player gains a curse. Each player who did draws a card. Woo! That's a weird, interesting... So you get a gold every time you play it. That already has me excited. For 5, if I'm spending 5 and every time I get this card, I'm getting a gold, that gets me excited. I'm always big into just hard money. A lot of people really love actions and getting an engine going with that. That's cool, but me, I'm a simple man. I just
You're extremely materialistic.
Yeah, I like to hold fat stacks.
You have a Sinead O'Connor fetish.
Yeah, that doesn't mean I'm good at the game. It just means I like to have fat stacks of money. So you get that gold, and then each other player gains a curse. I like giving people curses. That feels good. And then each player who did draws a card. I don't like people drawing cards. So it's this weird thing, like you get a curse, but you get to draw a card. I don't know how that would play out. I mean, curses suck to have, but they're not the worst thing on earth. Drawing cards is pretty cool, but gaining gold, I don't know. I feel like it evens out. That seems like a really solid 5 to me. that could make games just more interesting, more kind of back and forth. Taxman, he looks mean too.
That's Sinead O'Connor's brother.
Yeah.
Seamus O'Connor.
Seamus O'Connor. He's the opposite in all ways other than haircut. He's
the one who taped the picture of the Pope back together after she ripped it up.
He did, yeah. He loves fat stacks like me. This is cost 4. It's an attack card. Just like the Soothsayer, Taxman costs 4. He allows you to trash a treasure card from your hand. Each other player with 5 or more cards in their hand discards a copy of it or reveals a hand without. Gain a treasure card costing up to 3 more than the trashed card, putting it on top of your deck. So it's letting you trash a treasure from your hand, and then anybody who's got a full set of cards in their hand or more, anything you trash, they have to discard. So that's interesting, because if I trash a gold, because I'm a crazy person, everybody at the table has gold in their hand has to discard it. And then you gain a treasure card costing up to 3 more than the trashed card, putting it on top of your deck. So you're basically upgrading your treasure while making everybody else discard their treasure. Pretty cool. I could get into that. Good job, Seamus.
All right, so the next card up is Advisor. It costs 4 and it gains you 1 action. When you use it, you reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. The player to your left chooses one of them. Discard that card. Put the other cards into your hand. That could do some pretty interesting things. I feel like, all in all, it doesn't really shake things up too much. But, you know, I guess it really depends on who's sitting to your left.
Yeah, for 4, you're drawing 2 cards essentially, and getting an action, but one of the cards you're getting is not the card that the dude to your left wants you to have.
Yeah.
Yeah, seems cool.
Last card we got is the Journeyman. It costs 5, and when you use it, you name a card. Reveal cards from the top of your deck until you reveal 3 cards that are not the named card. Put those cards into your hand and discard the rest. So, yeah, that could be pretty interesting. Again, you've got to be one of those players that have a fairly good knowledge of where you are in your deck and what you have coming up. But I feel like you could, if you plan this well, you could use it to a pretty awesome degree, I think.
Yeah, I mean, this is interesting. I mean, this is another one of those cards. You can name any card. You could name a card that's not even in your deck. And in that case, this is sort of just drawing 3 cards. It's really not that big of a deal. It's cool to be able to say, you know, I want to draw 3 cards and I don't want them to be copper or I don't want them to be estates. So that's pretty cool. It's not super weird or exciting. It's not crazy. Yeah. In general, these cards are a lot more vanilla than the Dark Ages cards. Like there was cards like rats and knights and stuff in Dark Ages that were bonkers. And these are all a little more traditional. They shake up like the pattern of the game by thinking more ahead. This Journeyman card has something that you also see in the Doctor card, which is you're just naming a card. Seems like that's like a minor sub-theme that has shown up in the set. So yeah, what do you think of the guilds?
Pretty excited. I'm pretty excited about actually getting to play it and not just looking at them and reading all their words.
Yeah.
Also, it's probably a good time to say that we literally, as you saw, just opened this right in front of you. We could be wrong about any of this stuff.
Also, don't quote us on any of our evaluations on the cards because neither of us are actually very good at Dominion. We enjoy playing it, but any of our like, oh, this card seems like it'd be good or any of that, like, don't.
Well, the strategic value of this one, we're not the right people to listen to with that.
Yeah, don't, like I said, like I just try to get fat stacks of gold. Yeah, I mean, I dig the mechanic of thinking ahead. I like the overpay thing. I think that sounds like that's pretty cool. That's actually something that comes up for me all the time.
I'm looking forward to being able to have a jingly handful of coins in my hand to get to play around with throughout the game. Because it makes me feel like I have real money, as opposed to cards, which don't make me feel like I have real money at all.
I know I'm heavily invested in this game set-wise, so I'm kind of bummed that this is the last expansion. A certain part of me feels like it could just go on forever. I feel like you could always find new and interesting card combinations.
And who knows, according to this dude, it might continue to go on. It sounded like his retirement from Dominion expansions was was not entirely concrete.
Yeah, and in the coming future, we're gonna start releasing all sorts of content, not just stuff like this, but also comedy sketches about board games and other episodes just about the hobby in general. One of them is about Dominion, spoilers, so be on the lookout of that if you're a big Dominion fan.
Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. We don't have a whole lot of content yet, but I promise in the next few weeks we'll be building it up hopefully pretty quickly.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to playing it, and hopefully you got something out of getting a little peek at these cards, and I'll help you decide to go out and get it. It wasn't too expensive. And it's a nice bright neon pink, so you'll always be able to find it in a dark room.
Okay, so yeah, that's our unboxing of the new Dominion expansion. We hope you guys liked it. Feel free to comment on the video once you played it, or if you get it yourself, we'd love to hear what you guys think. We'll try and update you on what we think and how we've incorporated it into our Dominion sessions.
Yeah,
I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, like and subscribe.